I think a lot of people will look at this and say, go away, lads, sure. Well, it's hardly the born identity if you're a TD elected in Ireland.
Yeah.
I think the reality is it is very good advice and it is prescient because it's not going to be long before something happens where we all look back and say, that was predictable, we knew it was going to happen and now we're sorry that it did. We had a situation, within the last couple of weeks or a month at most, where two elected officials, Kieran Cannon and Anne Rabbitte, had bags of excrement flung at them. Now, if somebody is dumb enough to think it's a good idea to throw excrement at a politician, it's not a big extrapolation to decide somebody will be dumb enough to hit one of them or to assault one of them or to try to take one of them captive or anything along those lines. We've seen multiple instances in the UK where elected officials have been killed because people have been able to get easy access to them. And when you see situations where somebody's able to hit you with a bag of excrement, well, then they can hit you with something else. So I think it raises big questions, both for the safety of TDs, but it also raises questions about the level of security that they're given. There was a time that most, particularly cabinet members, had an armed detective beside them. Those days are behind us, and maybe it's time to look back at them.
Yeah, because I felt the same as you, that it's like everyone's going to be like, oh, this is so stupid. But at the same time, when you're seeing in certain countries the murder of Joe Cox, Dave Amos in the UK, Nancy Pelosi, the plot to kidnap her, the Michigan governor plot to kidnap her as well.
Even here, wasn't the Sinn Féin Justice spokesman Martin Kenny? Someone rammed his gates.
Correct.
Yeah.
You had Simon
Ireland.
Harris with people camped outside his house when he had a newborn child in the house and they're camped outside shouting in the window at the
family and
the same in Leo Varadkar's
well.
house as well, outside his house shouting things that I have never heard of. Like, honestly, the most disgusting things I've ever heard.
But people will say it's our right for public protest, it's our right to protest outside people's houses, it's our right to be obscene and abusive if we want to, and there is legitimacy to that as well. But it is that kind of thing that says all it takes is somebody whose judgment is skewed for whatever reason to make a decision and if the politician has no security or protection, we have big problems.
And there's also then something that extends to this. Whatever people think is the motivation for people to get into politics, things like this are going to go, well, I'm not getting into it.
Oh, totally.
Why would you do it to yourself?
But that's the rule of politics in general. Anybody who has watched the life of a politician would say you would have to be completely deluded to want to get into it as a job. It is a thankless job. But even if you want to do a thankless job, you should at least be able to do it in some level of security.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, we'd love to get people's opinion on this. 0896 111 111. Do you think that TDs should be given panic alarms in their houses? Should be more security? Yeah, is that the way really things are going, that politicians just don't feel safe anymore?
Or are you like, they're grand, don't worry about it? We'd love to hear, like, genuinely what you do think about this, because an awful lot of time there was an awful lot of money spent on these things and austerity and they were all taken away.